So what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper. Welcome everybody back to another video today. Hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, we are going to be looking at the top 5 best rogues right now in Rogue Company. Now, my opinion since I've started playing the game have changed a little bit, and this is going to be more of an updated list on what rogues I think in particular have stood out in the meta and ones that are going to serve you the best in conjunction with a good team. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth with each character that we talk about on this list, and I think you guys are going to find today's video useful. Now, if you do end up enjoying it, I would really appreciate to leave a like rating. That would be awesome. Subscribe if you are brand new to the channel, as we're getting really close to 300,000. And before we get started in on everything, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video. Today's video is brought to us by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning tool where you can virtually learn any sort of creative endeavor you want to. It's truly a place to explore limitless creativity at your hands. Now, very commonly in real life and in my videos, I'll get asked, how do I put these together? How do I make gaming videos? And more importantly, how do you edit them? All of the tools that you'll need to have at your disposal to become a YouTuber, like how to make your own thumbnails and how to edit videos, all of these things can be learned on Skillshare. And while the room for your creativity to explore is pretty much endless, it doesn't have to always be in the creative domain. You can also learn a lot about business and finance if you like to, so you can make gaming videos if you so choose, or you can learn any other skill that calls to you. And all of these resources I just mentioned are merely a drop in the bucket in the greater scope of what Skillshare has to offer. Also, Skillshare is specifically catered towards your skill level and your experience right now, so that you can continue to learn or hone in on your skills if you're still more experienced. The first 1,000 people to use my link in the description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium, and then after that, it's only $10 a month. So go explore that creative side of yourself that you've always wanted to, and join Skillshare today. Links in the description down below. So coming in today at the number 5 spot, I'm gonna give this one to Anvil. Now, originally when I made my ranking every character, roughly 2 weeks after Rogue Company came out, I ended up putting Anvil pretty low on the list. Like, he was definitely lower tier. I felt that he was like pretty easy to outflank if he's caught by himself, and you know, he's a good adjunct to have on a team, but all in all, he's not as useful as some other rogues. However, after playing the game a bit more, I think my opinion has changed on this quite a lot. Anvil has easily some of the scariest weapons in his arsenal. Not only are his shotgun and his LMG absolutely insane, I think the LMG is probably top 3 best guns in the game, just period. And not only that, but the C4 equipment is easily the most busted and overpowered piece of equipment in his kit. Not only is it super strong and can deal a lot of damage to a pretty significant radius, but it also is manually controlled. And this is the best thing about it, because, you know, typically other rogues who throw grenades, you can kind of see them coming and they're relatively easy to get out of the way. But Anvil C4 is a much different story. You can't really get a read on if he's about to throw it or not. There's no like tracking the distance of where it's going and anything. And it sort of just comes out of nowhere. It can really take you by surprise. Even if you're running the perks to reduce explosive damage, the C4 itself can also be upgraded to sort of negate that effect as well. Anvil is absolutely scary. In some situations can be pretty easy to outplay, but all in all is certainly one of the better rogues in the game and has impressed me as some time has passed. So it has to come in today at the number 5 spot. So moving on, and coming in today at the number 4 spot is going to be Phantom. Certainly one of my favorite ones to play, although admittedly not the most effective in the game. There's a couple rogues that I still think are objectively a bit better. Now, the point of a Phantom is to make the enemy afraid to be aggressive, and that's kind of the thing I've noticed. Whether you're playing Phantom yourself or a teammate of yours is, Phantom can either be your best friend or your worst nightmare. And as I've also mentioned, I think that Phantom's effectiveness greatly depends on your teammate's ability as well to play and not die, because if your team is just getting absolutely flanked and ran through, Phantom really can't do much up close at all. You have your pistol, which is, you know, reasonably effective, and it's actually surprisingly good in some encounters, but it's not going to beat out an SMG. It's usually not going to beat out any of the main ARs in the game either. The best thing you can do if you're playing Phantom is to sort of be a good anchor for your team and make it so that the enemy doesn't play as confidently. If they make aggressive plays, you punish them immediately. The main effect you get of being a good Phantom is, of course, being that anchor, but when your enemy is playing less confidently, that allows your teammates to go in more confidently, do the dirty work and, you know, cap objectives, or just, you know, all in all, get more kills, essentially. Of course, if you're playing Phantom, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be running the sniper, but I also think upgrading the pistol fully is absolutely essential to her kit. I would even forego getting some perks if it means that you can get your pistol upgraded as soon as possible, because it is a necessary adjunct if you happen to miss that very crucial sniper shot. Playing as an anchor for your team, you can also use your smoke grenades if a teammate goes down. Instead of using it to reveal enemies, you can simply throw it on top of your teammate. Not only does this visually block your teammate from being shot down by the enemy, but it's also going to discourage them from pushing into that smoke, as they know they're going to get revealed. It's almost like a healing class item. Again, again, if a relatively inexperienced player is playing Phantom and you're not really able to, you know, hit snipes or put much damage out, then you might end up being more of a burden to your team than a blessing. And so Phantom definitely takes a lot of practice, but can be unbelievably effective in the right hands. And on a side note, I also think Phantom makes you think about your positioning relative to the map and enemies more than any other rogue in the game does, as you are only effective at very certain angles and lines of sight. But either way, an extremely effective rogue in the right hands, and had to come in at number 4. But moving on, guys, and coming today at the number 3 spot, I'm gonna have to give this to the new rogue Dahlia. So this is the newest rogue to be added in the game, and certainly one of the more interesting ones in terms of overall abilities and toolkit. I believe that the MXR is going to be probably her better weapon in most situations, but both guns are almost equally viable. But that's not even the most interesting thing about this rogue. She can link with another one on your team, and you'll gain a passive ability, and each rogue is obviously going to grant a different but unique passive ability to her. But the best thing about this rogue is the ability to revive from 30 meters away. So if you link with a teammate and they happen to go down, you can revive them almost instantly from anywhere in the map. When I was talking about Phantom being a good anchor, that's true, but I also think Dahlia is maybe just, if not more, effective as an anchor than Phantom. Generally, you want to be communicating with the teammate that you're linking up with so that maybe they can be slightly more aggressive, and you know, you make sure you got them if they happen to go down. I'm putting her at the number 3 spot because not only is she just effective as an individual rogue, but again, I think people are like figuring her out in the meta, and she's going to become even more effective as time passes and people figure out what passive abilities are the best and what they link with most. This character is certainly a wild card at the moment, and I don't think anybody's truly got this rogue figured out, so it can end up being absolutely devastating when put on, you know, in the right hands. Dahlia is also going to be the most effective with the team that you are communicating with. If you're playing with randoms or people are just who aren't really playing cooperatively, then Dahlia is going to be a little bit of a struggle, and you may want to go with the rogue who has just, I don't know, maybe a little bit more firepower. Was trying to decide where to put Dahlia on this list, but I think I'm pretty happy at giving it the number 3 spot. Moving on though, and coming in today at number 2, we have Dima. So this is probably one of the more easy and simple to understand rogues in the game, and is typically the one that I recommend new players start with, as his kit and his tool set, all of his abilities are incredibly straightforward. And yet that is not to imply at all that Dima's skill ceiling is anywhere near low. I really think Dima is one of the most effective rogues in the entire game when played correctly. His AK is probably the best weapon that he can run, and I strongly recommend pretty much between each round using all of your money to upgrade that, as it sees the most dramatic improvement pretty much out of any guns in the entire game. Dima is also extremely good at making enemies just scramble, because you have not only your grenade launcher, you have separate grenades that are throwable if you would like to, which I also highly recommend. You can get players to move out of positions, force them to make mistakes, or, you know, make plays that weren't previously thought about. One of the only downsides is that Dima doesn't really have anything for staying off the radar or you know, to avoid getting revealed. He does have a little bit of extra armor if you choose to go for that upgrade, which is also pretty good. In my opinion, the biggest strength that Dima has is that he's pretty much good in any scenario, right? Similarly, like where Phantom is only good at particular lanes and angles and whatnot, Dima is good just about anywhere and can hold his own in almost any situation. And for that fact, that is why I fundamentally recommend him first to new players, just so that they get accustomed to using him in all types of scenarios, and then they can move on to other characters that specialize in different engagements. But Dima is so good to start with. No matter where you place him, I think he has to be on the top 5 list amongst these rankings. Now, before we unveil our number 1 spot, I would like to give an honorable mention to a certain rogue, because I feel like this one maybe is the unsung hero and doesn't get a lot of love, and that, my friends, is going to have to be Saint. Now, Saint doesn't have really any flashy moves or any insane guns that just are a cut above the rest, but at the heart of every good team, and one that's able to stay alive, is a very good Saint player. So this is a crucial key component in keeping your team alive, and if you're able to get reses off effectively, you can almost just out-health the enemy team. Even though none of Saint's guns are just like incredible, he's still able to hold his own in individual gunfight scenarios. He's not bad at all. Maybe Saint isn't super flashy and he doesn't get all the credit he deserves and many successes for their team, but overall one of objectively the best rogues in the game, and certainly one, if you like the healing class in these kind of games, then definitely make sure to check him out. But finally, guys, coming in today at the number 1 spot, we have Ronin. Now, in my original rogue rankings, I put Ronin extremely high tier, and I still feel that way to this day. I've put probably the most time into to this rogue out of all of them, and I gotta say that my feelings have only solidified on this rogue. I definitely think personal preference is a small part of it, but I think that Ronan certainly fits my individual playstyle. There's virtually nothing wasted on in her kit or armory, and I think that everything can be utilized properly, and you can be unbelievably effective with this character, and it's pretty much always one of the ones that gets picked immediately in public matches. I very rarely play any pub matches at all where a Ronan doesn't get picked on either side and team. I think a major reason for that is her toolkit is kind of like Dima, where it's extremely straightforward and easy to use, but that being said, it doesn't make the character, you know, one-dimensional or bad or anything. Ronan is easily probably the rogue with the most fragging power generally. The mobility as well as the damage you can put out in very particular places is unmatched to other characters. Another strength very similar to Dima as well is, again, Ronan's one of those ones that's just kind of got all her bases covered. There's no situations or scenarios where Ronan isn't going to be at least slightly effective. I really think Ronan is one of the best, if not the best rogue in the game right now, and definitely had to come in at the #1 spot. But that is going to be my ranking for the top 5 rogues in this game right now. I would love to know your guys' top 5 list down below in the comment section. If you guys did enjoy today's video, I would also really appreciate a like rating. That would be awesome. Subscribe if you're brand new to the channel for more Rogue Company videos. I'll have plenty more up on this channel very soon. And before you go, I've also created a brand new YouTube channel. It's a secret. Links in the description down below. It's not gaming at all, so go check it out and let me know what you think. But anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy, everybody, and peace out.